Hey everyone, I'm off to Aldi for my first major grocery shop since the twins flew the coop. I'm showing everyone this rattan lamp because it is such a great price, marked down to 29 bucks. But that's a really good price if anyone's in the market for something like that. And I'm very tempted to buy this steak. I'm trying to eat more beef. I've never seen this carbonate bread before in Aldi or any other store for that matter, so I think I'll check that out because the macros look really good and the bread looks delicious. So I'm back home with my haul. This is a combination of Aldi and Publix, and let's go over it real quick. More peanuts for the birds and some more Lacura night cream. If you guys haven't tried that stuff yet at Aldi, it's about $3.89, $3.69, and it is amazing. It's got the CoQ10, etc. No real scent to it. It works beautifully under my makeup. I can't say enough good things about it, and especially for the price with everything shooting up. I'm surprised Aldi hasn't cranked that up significantly, and I'm thankful they haven't. And I told you guys in my prior video that I was going to need to stock up on some produce, so that's what Aldi was about. I got 3 mangoes, and even though those are high in sugar, I plan to cut those up, freeze them on a sheet pan in cubes, and then toss them in a Ziploc baggie so that I can have one frozen bite of mango when I get that urge to eat something sweet. And the peppers, gotta have lots of those in the summer, right? I think I'm gonna do a zoodle dish next week with these zucchinis. I was out of oranges, I like those in my tea. Spinach, down to just 4 eggs, and I think I'm going to try making some low carb, high protein egg bites. And then I stocked up on some more meats. If you watched a prior video where I did my summer pantry and freezer inventory, I tried to get through a bunch of larger cuts of meats that I had in there while the girls were still here, and I did a fantastic job of that. We literally cleared through everything except for the turkey tenderloin, and we used up all the bacon, all the kielbasa, all the sausage. I'd used up my last package of my favorite salmon from Aldi. And then this week, this is an Aldi Finds deal. Basically a great big filet mignon, call it one step down from filet mignon. And it was $6.99 a pound. It just doesn't get any better than that. So I got 2 pounds there for $13.77. It's garlic rubbed. So I probably will freeze half of it, and then down the road I'll make some steak on the grill or beef and broccoli, whatever with that. And then I had just enough cream left for one day, and I was down to 1 stick of butter. This was my only indulgent purchase, if you will, at Aldi. It smells amazing. It looks amazing, you know. Low carb bread can end up tasting like cardboard. We'll see how that goes, but net carbs, 2 grams per slice and 80 calories. And I'll let you know what I think of that when I try a piece down the road. And I spent a total of $67 at Aldi on all of that stuff, which seems really high for not that many items, but when you consider how much meat I got here and dairy, that's pretty good. Oh, and the eggs were $1.13. So then here's my little Publix run. I went to Publix today for 2 things specifically. They had organic blueberries on a BOGO, and those were $4.49. And that brand, those blueberries, look how big those things are. Those are so sweet and delicious. And Aldi's regular blueberries were $2.69, and these came out to what, $2.25 a carton. So I'm calling that a win. And then my one indulgence at Publix was this truffle mousse. Wheat thins were on a BOGO today. $5.29, and I had a 75-cent rebate, and I also had a $1 off when you buy 2 coupon. So I got those, net, call it $3.50-ish. And then this cat food, there was still a $4 I bought a rebate. It expires tomorrow, and that cat food is $10 a bag. It's Ellie's very favorite. So that took it down to $6. And then the Lysol, that turned out to be a good deal. I was down to less than half a jug. They were on a BOGO, $6.29. But I also had a $1 rebate on those, and had a 75-cent Publix coupon. So that took it down to basically, just a smidge over $4 for the 2, or a little over $2 a bottle. And then the soap, not a great deal, it was $2.75. And then this Downy, they had it on sale this week at Publix, $10.99. But I also had a $3 digital on my Publix account. I got this for $7.99. So I was down to maybe about a half a bottle of those beads. So I wanted to stock up while I could still get that deal, since they are pricey, and they really are an indulgence. But oh my gosh, they make your laundry smell so good. And then these sodas, I almost never drink soda or buy soda. I mean, literally, it's probably been at least 3 months since I had a soda. But this was on a BOGO. These are little 20-ounce bottles. And I just wanted to try this Ultimate. It's 0 calorie. It was $2.29 and a digital on Publix site for a BOGO. So, and I gotta say, I'm disappointed in this one. It tastes kind of confused. Coke Zero is by far much better. And then I got this off the clearance rack. You see, it's for $6, so I paid $1.50 for this 10-ounce bag of dried cranberries, which I like to put in my salads occasionally or whatever. So, and then I did pick up this loaf of multi-grain bread from the deli, or the bakery, I should say. Cut a little bit off, an inch or so, and have it with my salmon here in a minute, and then I'll throw the rest in the freezer, and maybe once a week let myself have an inch or 2 slice of that, because I'm trying to keep the carbs down. And then these Temptations, there's 16 in a box. I call them Lickies. Publix had a $3 coupon, and Ibotta had a $3 rebate. So that took it down to $2.29 for the box. And poor little Teddy, he certainly deserves a treat, and he loves those things. He has been so depressed since the girls left. It's been really hard on him. He's definitely Danny's cat. He's used to sleeping with her every night. She got him when he was a baby at the Humane Society, and he is absolutely her baby. And it's really been a hard adjustment for him. It breaks my heart. But realistically, it's not a good time for them to have the cats at the townhouse. They're planning on me taking them with me when I move a year from now. And, Teddy and I are adjusting. Between Aldi and Publix, I spent a total of $120. And I think that's not too bad, considering I got a lot of meat and quite a bit of dairy and eggs. And now let's get into the meal prepping I did for the week. What we've got going on here is I'm preparing to make a marinade for these chicken thighs that I picked up on clearance at Winn-Dixie the other day. So the marinade is real simple. Soy sauce, water, garlic, onion powder, a little Worcester sauce, and some ginger. I don't care for all of the fat that you usually find on chicken thighs, so I'm going to trim that up, and then I will slice up the chicken and get the marinade going. 1.6. So that's kind of sad. The after sale price was $4.82. So I'm paying $4 for edible chicken and 82 cents for cat chicken. not buying chicken thighs again. We'll see. I have one more package in the freezer. Now I'm whipping up the marinade and pouring it over this chicken. And I'll massage it around to make sure all the chicken's well covered. Then I'm going to put it in a pan just to hedge my bets from leaking, and it's going in the fridge to marinate. While I'm doing this meal prepping, the neighbors are getting a new roof, and the weather is so funky. I can't believe these guys are out there trying to work, but God bless them, they're going for it. And we'll see how long they can keep it up before it starts pouring rain. So I'm on another meal prep, use it up, eat healthy challenge here. It's the start of a new work week. It's Sunday, so I'll be prepping several things today. I'm going to start with changing things up on my breakfast routine. I really turned into a one-note wonder eating yogurt bowls with berry and keto granola, and although I'm still enjoying those, I feel the need for some change. And today I'm going to make keto-friendly blueberry muffins that are high protein. And this is going to allow me to use up some things that I really need to. Mostly this almond flour. Somehow I got myself shuffled, who knows, a while back. And this bag doesn't expire until the end of September, but it's almost gone. This bag's expired 6 months ago and it's almost full. I smelled the two. They smell the same. They smell neutral. So I'm going to use all of my flour from this today. Well, not everything in the bag, but everything in the recipe will come from this bag. And it's 2.5 cups of flour that it calls for, so I'll probably get through about half of that. And then this protein yogurt, that expired a week ago. It still smells fine, looks fine, tastes fine. This monk fruit sweetener, this expired in 2022. I popped into Walmart and used some of my buyer money to buy some more of this whey protein isolate unflavored. And I'm gonna use some of that. Some blueberries, which I need to use up because I have a bunch in the fridge. And then the typical baking soda, vanilla, yada. So I'm gonna get going on this, and then I'll show you the end results and give you the taste test opinion. All right, so next up on my list of changing up my high protein, low carb lifestyle, I am going to whip up some egg bites. And you know, eggs, they don't have a lot of proteins. That'll be about 12 grams of protein from the eggs. If I get a tablespoon of cheddar cheese into each of these, that'll be about 3 grams of protein. I'm gonna chop up a bunch of bacon in there. This is left over from a week ago. Hopefully that's still tasty enough to use. This is pre-cooked bacon that I kept on hand for the YAs. It's the last of it. So now we're at, let's just round it up and call it a total of 20 grams of protein for 2 egg bites. All right, so my muffin came right out of that silicone cup very nicely. I did not grease the cups. Well, it does kind of have that dense almond flour look to it. Now let's give it a taste. Who doesn't love a fat blueberry? Okay, I am giving these muffins a 9 out of 10. And especially for being gluten-free, high protein, I'm actually shocked how much I like those. Those are really good. So I'm making tuna salad while my naan bread raises for 10 minutes. And here are my eggs that I boiled. I'm doing 2 eggs and 1 can of tuna just because after 2 servings of this, I'll be done with tuna salad and I don't want to waste food. So this 1 can of tuna has 23 grams of protein in it and 12 grams of protein from the egg. So we're talking 35 grams of protein, call it 17 grams per serving because I'm going to divide it into two. In case any of you are new to my channel or missed the short I put up a couple of months ago about a hack on how to chop eggs with lightning speed, get your pastry cutter out. You can even make sliced eggs doing this. I got chopped eggs in about 15 seconds or less, you guys. And this is a lot easier to deal with than one of those silly plastic egg slicers with the wires that break. That's your unexpected hack for the day. All right, so I'm whipping up the peanut sauce now. I've got the chicken thighs cooking over here on the stove. This peanut sauce is half a cup of peanut butter, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, no rice vinegar. Calls for 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, but the author has a note down below, which, by the way, this is from the Fox and Briar cooking website. He notes down below that he uses all natural unsweetened peanut butter. I'm using Jif because that's what I have on hand. It has sugar in it. But he says if you're using that sort of peanut butter to reduce your brown sugar to 1 tablespoon, well, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix all this up and give it a little taste test and decide if I even want to put any sweetener in there. Because when it comes to Asian foods, I don't want it to be sweet, really. I want it to be savory. So we'll see how this tastes once I get it whipped up. Now, this recipe does not call for any sesame oil, but another one does. So I'm going to add a tablespoon of sesame oil for the flavor. Now, it says to whisk this up before you add any water. The recipe calls for 2 to 4 tablespoons of water, but to add 1 tablespoon at a time until it's to the consistency of your liking. Alright, that's still pretty darn thick. I'm going to give it a taste test now and decide if I want to add a little golden monk fruit or possibly a little more soy sauce and vinegar. We'll see. I don't want any sugar in there. It's a little peanut buttery, so I'm going to add another tablespoon of soy sauce and another tablespoon of the rice vinegar. It's also still very thick, but I think it's close to the consistency. After adding the soy sauce and the rice vinegar, I think it'll be about perfect. Oh yeah, that's about spot on. And that's the consistency. Alright, so these soybean noodles, you guys have had these forever. It says it expired in July of 2021, so 2 years ago. Smells okay. It's pasta. I'm cooking it. I'm eating it. Organic. Yeah, that's about half a package. And I love it because the one serving has 24 grams of protein and only 7 grams net carbs, which includes 13 grams of fiber, so I'm loving that. The package says cook it 4 to 6 minutes. It's Sunday, about 5 o'clock. I was out at the pool for only about an hour and got rained out. Got my shower, got my jammies on, so you're not gonna see me on camera with my wet hair and my PJs, but I'll show you what I'm up to. And I am now gonna make some keto naan bread. And I'm not on the keto diet per se, but I am very much trying to get high protein, lower carb. And for the first time in my life, I bought psyllium husk, which the good thing about this stuff is it's gluten-free and it's high fiber. So 8 grams of carbs, 7 grams of fiber. So that's for 1 tablespoon, a net of 1 carb. And most recipes only call for, a couple of tablespoons like this one. I have never attempted this recipe before. This naan bread calls for yeast, so 1 packet into 1 cup of water. Right, so half a cup of coconut flour. Now you guys, I gotta smell test this because the expiration date on this, May of 2020. It smells okay. Let me give it a little taste test. It tastes fine. I'm going for it. Half a cup of coconut flour. Am I the only one that buys the expensive ingredients, telling myself I'm gonna make all these healthy foods and then maybe I use a little bit and it sits in my cabinet until it expires, and you know, a year, 3 years later, I get back on a healthy kick and I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe this time it'll stick long enough I can get through all this stuff, right? Now, 2 tablespoons of the psyllium husk. I'll link the recipe down below. This is from Sweet as Honey's website, and she says this makes 4 large naan breads or 6 small ones, a net of 3.5 carbs and 4 grams of protein, 1/4 a cup of salt, 3 tablespoons of olive oil, use a spatula to combine all ingredients, then knead the dough energetically with your hands for 2 minutes, no less. The texture is very wet at first, drying out as you go. Knead for at least 2 minutes to make sure that the husk and coconut flour fiber absorbs all the moisture. Well, I'm gonna knead for 2 minutes, but I'm not gonna make you watch me knead for 2 minutes, but I will say this is how the texture is starting out, kind of like Play-Doh. Here's my little non-dough ball. Looks like a brain. It does feel fluffy, like it has raised, although it didn't visually raise much. Yeah, it says to cut it in 4 pieces or 6. I'm going for 6. I'm gonna kind of quasi-roll this in a ball. It's like dough, but fluffy. Kind of like Play-Doh. I don't know how else to describe it. Anyway, this is going in the skillet. I am not going to put any grease in there. All right, so that's the first slice of naan just flipped over with a spatula, and it's proofing up nicely. It's looking good. There's my chicken thighs that I've cooked that had marinated in a teriyaki sauce all night. And I'm going to drain those noodles in a minute. Then I will chop up some chicken and stir some sauce into a serving of noodles with the broccoli and onions I've got over there. What I've got going here is this is the same pan that I cooked the chicken in, and I've decided that, you know, I want to warm the noodles and the sauce together because you don't cook the sauce, you just stir the ingredients together. I thought I'd start by putting the noodles, which this is not a ton of noodles, but it's going to be just right for me for at least 2 servings. I'm going to add the sauce, and I'm going to add maybe about 1/3 of it and give it a stir and see what I think as far as consistency goes. I mainly want to get it on the noodles to start with and then incorporate the veggies with it. This is about 3/4 of the chicken. I'd say I have about 4 ounces over there in a container because I felt like this was going to be a lot of chicken. So I'm going to stir this in. I think that's just about the perfect amount of sauce. Here's a look at the naan bread. I'll taste test this for you. It kind of feels like a regular naan, only maybe a little squishier. I don't know how else to describe it. I'm gonna give that a 7, maybe even an 8 out of a 10 for a gluten-free coconut flour psyllium husk. It'll be a perfect vehicle to go with hummus or even the tuna salad I made. You guys, this one is a total winner. OMG. That first bite was like a song. Oh. So I am going to sit down and enjoy the heck out of this. I'm running low on healthy desserts/snacks, so I'm making some chocolate-covered bananas with some sugar-free chocolate chips. And I've melted these in the microwave with about a teaspoon of coconut oil. And I'm going to put drops of chocolate across this parchment paper and then set a banana slice on it, and then I'll top it with some more chocolate because I feel like dunking the bananas will use up more chocolate than I have, and I want to make sure I get all of these covered with chocolate. Then they're going in the deep freezer and then in a Ziploc bag. Well, that's been a marathon weekend of meal preps, but well worth it because these are all delicious and I'm looking forward to enjoying them the rest of the week. Thanks for tuning in, guys.